Je Jodan Zoji Jonan La Shanja Bada Dana Jabsam Shi Taki Chishi Jive Sona Dola Pencha Sanje Rabba Shu Sanje Jodan Zoji Jonan La Shanja Bada Dana Jabsam Shi Taki Chishi Jive Sona Benja Sanje Rabba Sanje Jodan Zoji Shanja Bhagda Dana Japsum She Dake Chishi Jive So Dola Bencho Sanji Okay, good evening again. Play again. Play. Good evening everyone again. We have to learn little bit meditation, okay? And who knows meditation? Taught meditation, emptiness. As much as you can. And you have no idea what is emptiness. You can meditation how I find yourself, how identify yourself. Is correct? Identify yourself. Okay? This is meditation, okay? You serious? Mark, you okay?
Why?
Yeah. I'll put the hot water, okay? Okay? You can identify yourself. Or something which I'm here, I'm here, and just identify. Then who knows as emptiness? A little bit meditation, emptiness. Okay? Or emptiness you can from your body, or your mind, your feeling, or other phenomena. Anything. Okay? Everyone good? Maybe 10 minutes, okay? short, too fast.
That was very fast.
It's my 10 minutes. Okay. Anyway, so wonderful. Tomorrow is the 4th of July. July 4th or 4th of July?
Independence Day.
Independence Day. And we also good to remind I'm a lucky person. I'm able to also celebration to the 4th of July this year again. Who knows, you're able to next year or not? Yeah. What do we want to talk? I think we don't want to talk too much. Anyway, as Buddhism is to, I think I mention it every time, we have the mental and physical mental. More and exercise for our mental Buddhism is. As we say, we have always some issue of our body. Then the doctors can also check, or they can help, or they can fix. Our mental issues, mental problems, doctors not able to, or they should give the injection to sleeping. Then that mental issue also through our thinking, transform our mind, change our mind. It's not possible to change your mind, just I want to change your mind. But understand the reality through the experience or other things. Therefore, we are able to change our mind. It means they were also possible to keep our mind peace and relax. This is one of the goal. Then main goal or further goal is to become enlightened, means free from all the delusions of our mind, means free from all the problems. When our mind is not have any emotions or delusions, never happen, then become very close to enlightenment. Okay? Okay. Yeah. Go to okay?
다음에도
오늘 좀 같이 담으시. 어디서
다음에도 그거는 근처에서 나와가 더 하나 사.
그거 나한테 둘러 나한테
아들 다음에 어디 나다 자산 다음에도.
Sorry that. 재당도 당연히 동반이 되지 꿈을 받아. 동반이 있어야 돼. 그대로 지어야나. 근데 추탐체 팔로이 샤워자 마도 그런 거냐. 근데 저기가 말해서 대처 매와 됐다 추탐이가 내려인 말이. 안텔라 동반이 해라고 말이.
So we just meditated on emptiness. So what emptiness means is nothing exists from their own side. Everything is merely imputed by one's mind, and that is the emptiness, and that is the reality, of the phenomena.
That claim. 당한주가 남주요 소주 넘었다 인. 소주고 삼았다 인. 소주고 tem았다 인세. and telejana chikting la ba na na to ne ta se ba jo me ba da ani tam sama de ngo ba che da de je je na to ke de na tam to lo to we.
Normally what we think is correct, what we see is correct, and things are just like how we perceive, and then when we when the things are things doesn't go in a way that we perceive, and then we become agitated or upset, and that causes a lot of problem to our life.
배제는 또 지땡이 샤워지만 나 그 매지 딱 수고 나게 나다들 무슨 말이나 때 좋았다. 주도 지었다. 나도 뭐 마사나 때 갈도.
So like in the world, if somebody is sick and they identify the disease, then it is easier to cure it. But if you cannot identify the disease, then there's no way to cure it, right?
얘도 지방 안도 지금 샘나 강이 요대기 저대 강이 봐 하고 있나 아니 때문에 소지 그디나야 아니 소소 잔트 보라다 제 참마야 남래나 요다 요아 어떻게 소변 홀고 말이
So if we can identify the cause for our problems, then we can bring some solution for that, right? And then that way we can all have peace and happiness in the world.
오케이 제자 안에 동반이 있어야 돼 된다 하고 되게 된다고 하고 예문에 된데 동반이 되다고 하지 거이나 아니 지금 단단한 최신백에 남들이 요다 망보식 돼서 봐 총로야 줘요.
So if we can gain some understanding about the emptiness, about the reality, then all the problems that we face in this world can be reduced a lot.
왜 다들 막 쇼토마 땅도 제발로 통마요 말이 가달라디면 제발로 통마요 말이지. 제발 통마면 말 통마요 말이지. 말 통가요 말이지. 그래서 오셔야 돼 말이.
And so we, last time we talked about how there is no beginning, to the life. And just like there's no beginning of the life, there's no, so it's an end to the number, of the beings, who has been our mothers. And so that is in the verse 68, right? Dine dagi mao, dene dagi ma, deye mao, shej towa chenase. Dagi ma, ane deye ma.
Yeah.
Dagi ma, ane deye ma.
ane 대마지 세바이나 아니다 사치 모델까지 사치 모 당은 말이스.
So this one here, like you saw in the text, right? That it talks about how the sentient beings have been our mothers. And this if you count the number of the beings who have been mothers, like your mother and mother's mother and the mother's mother, like that. And so if you keep on counting, it will never come to the end. So if you count with the with the earth, in the size of the juniper seed, and you will finish, you'll exhaust all the earth, but will not finish the number of the beings who have been your mothers.
그래. 어때 가시 잡아이 맞지? 아, 근데 다시 등마다 슈들었다 가서 등마 안에 내서 가져라야. 다 지금 야는 도만인 집이니 봐서.
And then in the verse 69, it talks about the shortcomings of how beings are born in upper realm and lower realm, or some there's the shortcomings of being high and low. So can you please read the verse 69?
Indra, who is revered throughout the world, falls to earth through the force of karma. The entire universe will become a low servant in samsara.
Okay. Can you explain a little bit of that?
Basically, you can go from high to low, and so it's still samsara.
Is that very short? Can you explain a little bit longer here?
Yeah, even in the upper realm, like in the God realm, like in where Indra resides, is not, even though it lasts for a very long time, it's not a permanent peace. It's still, you're subject to your karma, and you, when you die, you'll fall to the lower realms. So,
Okay, that's good. 단 내도 시간에 건져 라동스라고 가도 저 남들은 양용수셔야 말을 봤어. 라동스라고. 동스라고 뭐죠? 자기의 제월에서 야 만내가 제거됐어. 거든 넘어다 남들은 될 제외 양용도 된 통함 나도 이거 말 봐. 시도들이 임발된 것도 양용도 와.
So this is what is said in the text, right? In the text, or what is said by the Buddha. But it is difficult for us to prove that because we don't experience that ourselves. We're not like born up there and then we remember and then we're born down like that. We don't remember. We don't experience that, right? So you can say yes. At some point, in some lifetime, you were born as Indra or the Lord of the gods. But then at the other time, you are born as ordinary beings or even down in the lower realms and so forth. But it can say that it is really it is true, but it is very difficult to prove because we don't experience that directly by ourselves.
The experience, we just 남들 빠나 남과 동발 아빠인 것은 그래. 임발에 있어야 되면 거서 삶을 떠나긴 고음도 와.
And so it's like waving your hand in the empty space, like this, and says, "Oh, it is like that," but you can't really prove it. But if we can apply that, to that shortcoming, to us in this life or in this world.
Okay, can you do that? To explain to 네가 가는 도면다 그러고 탑다 고자다 와나 땀다 년다다 도저라야 간제 때보요 말이지
이대요.
네대요 말이지.
So this is talking about how things are uncertain, in samsara. Like you can be high, it doesn't mean you're going to be high all the time. And then at some point you're very high, but then at the other point, you fall very low. So just like in a status or in the position, or even like in a fame, at some point you can become very famous, and then other time you become very unfamous, so like that. Or you can become very rich at one point, and then the other time you can become very poor in that very lifetime, right? In this world, we have seen that, we have experienced that, right?
Okay, yes.
So I have a question. We've seen this many times, but what is always said is like when the karma is exhausted, right? So karma is an action, it leaves an imprint, right? So how exactly does karma become exhausted?
So
the lady said words, let's say about anything on the Jabun Yongo Marascora. And at the late chain at the leg is the lay Paksha Shagoras, and a leg under Segoras.
let's set on news.
Later the Junchesara, the whole Paksha Shawan, Lashana Junchesara.
가지 레산이 다 레디 바자샤사고 가지 대대 샤다가 가지 일단 레긴 되고 레디 코피 액션 제사보다 그 레고도 내다 딜 바자샤죠 다 바자데코 아니 걔는 내가 되었던 거로 와서.
So we talk about that. Yes, usually we say like, yeah, your karma is exhausted. Oh, because of your karma, you're experiencing that. The karma is like the action, right? You do something, the moment you do it, and then moment you have done it, the karma is gone. But what is left is the imprint, right? So it is the imprint that brings you the result, not the karma itself. The karma is gone already, right? It's already ceased. Karma ceases the moment it's done. But what is there is the imprint left by that karma. And then because of that imprint, you experience the result. So when you have experienced the result, then that imprint is also gone. So that's what is called the karma exhausted.
디니가 아니 제가 용어라 라파게 창고도 라파게 내가 락제 용어라 라파게 창고도 라파지 차는 로서버도 라파코 대대고 내가 그 바자 네가 던 라파 지샤다고 그 말해서 놓고 구자로 봐.
So it's just like holding the cup, so like when you hold the cup, your hand comes the action of holding it. And then soon after you hold it, then, the action is done. What you leave, is the imprint, of that fingers, prints, the fingerprints, on the cup. It's like that.
다 되게 핑거빈데 받는 건데 라발 점도 와나 딜라바도 피샤셔 와이나 다 미셔마지 코트 와이나 깨되잖아 아니 콜고도 아니 코나도 와.
So yeah, if you have you leave the fingerprint, or if you have a germs on your hand, then you might leave them there also, and then somebody else comes and touch that, then they will get the germ and they will get the disease like that.
I get it, but it really doesn't answer the question, because it's like, yes, the imprint of a divine being, like somebody like an Indra, right? Where does it go? Where the imprint just over time supposedly never leaves. So like, it doesn't just disappear.
단다 처럼 그 jel라파지 고로제비 저 제가 레요르스 나도 메라토 말이지 나는 제거 말이.
So 그런 생각다 바자가는 세도 그래서요.
바자가 세상이었어. 바자 레벨 점니 메로치다 바자 코나 안 메워서니요. 요거를 답변나 먹게 바자로 위나 먹게 와든 레벨 먹게 와든 아니 계획 있냐 뭐 때잖아. 그런 메워치 자는 거래. 아 그런 건 레벨 접수만에 그런 메워 자는 거래.
So there are two ways, you can exhaust the imprint. One way is to experience the result. Once you have experienced the result of that imprint, then that imprint will be gone. So there will be no more, results to experience. So if you have created a karma, to have something, right? And then when you had that, then your karma is that karma, or the imprint, of the karma it's gone. And then other way, is to destroy it, by creating negative karma. When you create a strong negative karma, it can get destroyed. Or if you create a very strong positive karma, then that the negative imprint can get destroyed, and that way it will be exhausted also. So, like for example, if you keep ice, on a place, like a table or wherever, it will drench, the object, the place, right? So that is the action, of the moment. So that's the result, of the ice. So when it turns into the water, turning into water and drenching, the object or the place, is the result, right? So when it turned into water and drenched the object, then there's no more ice. Is there ice still there? No, right? It's gone. So what happened? It turned into the result. And so when it melts and drench the object, then it's the result. But before it melt and drench, you can just take it away and then put it somewhere else, right? And then that's like destroying the ice before experiencing its result. So just like that, if you have created negative karma, and if you don't abandon it, or purify it, then eventually you're going to experience the result of that negative karma. But then if you did a practice and purify it or destroy it, then you will not have to experience the result, right? So you can exhaust the negative karma in there two ways. So for example, if you have created karma to be born as a squirrel,
it's possible, right?
So that karma, can be destroyed before you experience the result, of being born as a squirrel. by doing a practice or doing the purification of negative karma, right? So by doing that, you can purify that, and you will not have to experience the result of being born as a squirrel.
다 마파샤샤원의 pen 레디 두 페다는데 파나도 소리로 도우치 레다 다 파르티다 레 카리 톱체 그냥 매고도 다 지금이는 다 이마지 스콜데 내 라데나 콘데로 메자와이나 콜라와다 아니 텔레케지나 스콜체로.
So how it gets ripened or destroyed, is like depending on all the karma that you have created. So whichever is more powerful, manifests first, right? So manifests first, or acts, or ripens first, And so if you have created all these different karmas, and then you have this huge negative karma, bigger than being born as a squirrel, then that will ripen first. And then when that has ripened, and then eventually come to the turn of the karma to be born as a squirrel, and if you still have not abandoned that or purified that, then you'll experience the result of being born as a squirrel.
Like that, okay? Thank you. You have any questions?
It makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, just first you can listen. Maybe first couple of them you have no idea what you talk about, but you can hear more, then think. Then there's you have some more. I say a bit more makes sense. Okay, 단 네가 된다 가르쳐도 단 잠블레가 아니 지금 가리면 다 인대용 말해서 다 때가도 좀 당고네서.
So this is again talking about the disadvantage of the samsara. So how things are very uncertain in samsara. So like in this world, the leaders, right? So the world leaders, so they're not going to be leader all the time, right? Yeah, sometimes you can become very high as a leader of the country. The other time, then you can fall into a prison and become a prisoner. So I don't know, you might have heard about this, the leader in China, right? I don't know, this prime minister or president, prime minister maybe. So the leader in China, the previous one, was a leader at that time, but then the current leader, point out his faults and then arrested him and then put him in a prison. So now he's in prison. Before this current leader, he was the leader of China, but now he's in prison.
Prison, I don't know, prison or not, but he took from the office Aryans from the people. This weekend, they might talk double mobile. Top page and a page of chamber and double chamber and a doing what you got me from the door. That beyond the madra.
So like that, and also there are many cases in the world, like there are so many people who are very rich and at some point, and then they become very poor at the other time, right?
다 깨닫지면 다 다르다. 두세 다 빼대죠. 잠지처럼 빼 미삼아 가다가 니마치처럼 이게 너무 막아줘서. 양 잠지처럼 미삼 막아줘야 니마치 미삼이 가다 차는 거예요. 어쩌나 잠블링 있던 나도를 이때요 말이에요. 다 대가도 고녀도 와.
The same with the people, like the famous people, like the celebrities, right? So they're not famous, they don't remain famous all the time. Sometimes they're very famous, they become very famous, but then other time they fall down. And so in a similar, with all other things, like people who are rich, doesn't mean that they will be rich all the time. They can become poor depending on their karma, right? So it's all very uncertain.
다 지금 때 공대잖아. 장좀 잠블리게야. 가라야. 근데 가디나 코 다시 전에 콜 강에 치는 거 가디 티강 땡이 누가 누가. 근데 메시지는 제방모 오도디냐 차대 그래.
So now let's do an analytical meditation on this. So just think about, how people, do they remain rich, or without problem all the times, or they fall into problems. Sometimes they don't have much problem, but another time they fall into a lot of problems like that. Is it like that, or can they be like in one position all the time? Is it certain that they can be in one position all the time?
okay, fame, name, position, and yeah, anything, okay? A little bit analytic meditation. Hold the wall. 도우치는 검전에 아무데들 레와서 소월나 아니 간도 틀이 되나 고요래서. 생각도 틀이 다 하고 뭐 자진 되는 것도 투 많이 고만요다 고하게냐 고하도서 자노도.
So like that, if you experience it and then you understand it, then it will make sense to you. Otherwise, if you think about like how someone is born as a god and Indra, and then other time he fall into the lower realm like that, that just becomes like a mythical story, right? It's very difficult to experience that by ourselves. But this case that where we fall, from being famous to unfamous and so forth, we can experience that.
Okay, yeah, couple minutes to meditation. Okay, analytic. This is an analytic meditation to watch the all the world. 배차시나 감수변은 남력까지 bombo. 아니 bombo에 냐마치 그 bombo에 내려 줘거라야 미 참이 양 아니 가로 bombo 거기다 쇼버도 맞지 미 참이 막아지다 차이고 되는 거야.
So at some point, somebody can be a leader of the country, and then other time, there can be someone hated by all the people around.
종가시건 왕 아니 미기 라파시로 어떻게 뭐 용도와.
And yeah, so like so many cases like where they end up dying in a prison or dying at the hand of somebody in some ordinary people.
답변 배차는 일단 자도 라면 때문에 재미 bombo들 로충 내려고 bombo에 가려야 딴 데는 걸로 제비 저거지 콜라 구소와도 마음도 깎았다더래. 다들 가지 고 산소진이다. 종가는 문제까지 다 미스진 통을 막고 가와 신경 맞다. 드니 주셔야 돼.
So like I talked about that Chinese leader, and 10 years ago he was the leader, he was like the universal monarch, in China. He had all these comforts, and all the wealth and protection like bodyguards and so forth. But now, he's put in a prison where nobody can even see him, in a very isolated place like that.
단 되게 되게 되나 가래고 공도 나도 내려내 가고 다 저런 거 못해나라야. 까도 뭐 보용 거래스. 대용원 지탱이 중요해스.
So what it's trying to say in this text, is that in this world, in your life, you will have so many, so many difficulties. That is the nature of life.
Challenges. 다 되는 도구는 가래고 다 양조 되게 먹고 아니 개와트 고래스. 대고 다.
And so to not experience such kind of difficulties in the life, then you have to create positive karmas.
다 되는 쇼로가 그 탐바티가 단데 그 자보에 봐서 아니 배멜에 빼샤네 아니 고송을 가지 저랑은 너베게 때와 저랑 말 시당 내가 너베 때와 간디지를 놓셔와이나 대라용 보면 어떻게 해요 말이에요 말이에요.
And then in verse 70, it talks about how the desire realm, the happiness in desire realm, is not reliable. So you can't be happy or satisfied with the happiness of the desire realms.
다 대디 시에다 잡고인다 아니 콜라 베멜라 빼잖아요. 아니 딱
And so this is explained to king. So therefore Nagarjuna explains with the example of a woman.
Okay, read that book. Read that verse.
After blissfully caressing the breasts and hips of celestial maidens for a long time, once again you are stroked by machines in hell that crush, slash, and tear you unbearably.
제 가들은 가나 좀 밑에 망아쳤다. 그 로추가 가다 되게 제대로 다네. 그 가디나티 되게 못 와.
And so this, of course, is of course, in the same with the people. When they're young, right? They experience this, but then it doesn't remain like there all the time.
이제 로추에 가려야 등로라 가리 도박가 되나. 그 로추 뭐지는 텔라 도나메가. 가리 야 텔라 가리 뚜나와 막아와들. 장도 제대로 때 이때면 다 해서.
So when you're young, that might be a fun or a pleasure, but then as you grow older, then sometimes it doesn't become pleasure anymore, or sometimes it even becomes disgusting.
쇼치는 간도 사상세에 메트머봐. 니니 사상에도는 라운 쇼츠라고.
And on one hand, is the couples, or spouses are like very important. You must have someone to share your life with. But then on the other hand, once you become married, then you have lost your freedom.
어제 가지 때 어떻게 되려마다 가지 대회가 저런 게 있다. 너야 대원을 가서 이제 롱쇼가 될래야 지금. 내 몸이야다. 야무나 대가디네 대대한테 말해야지.
So so whenever you experience any kind of pleasures in the in the samsara, and that pleasure will not remain as pleasure all the time.
다 대표면에다 변화 참 잠담처럼 빼 다시바 된다가 라르바 양보장제 그래서 다음에 저야 짬이 짠데 그래서 다들 소소 미실 메들 삼다.
And same like sometime in your life, things will go very well, everything will go very well, and it will be very successful, very auspicious. But on the other time, everything becomes very unauspicious or very unsuccessful. So you can experience this kind of up and down in the life also, right?
It's all right. It's our experience, right? 어 드네 받아 다네 가려나 야지 지나가래 미상하죠. 소와 대도 가려요나 텔레야 직등이 중요해야지.
And so this kind of up and down experiences you might have, this is again is the nature of the samsara.
아 야무나 지나가 셈pe는 삼tum 쓰면 빼지고 삼tum 쓰면 맞지와야 그래. 삼tum 쓰고 빼도 쓰고 맞대 그래. 대야 아니 직등인데 다 레냐가 오셔가 풍본도 쳐서만 되게 아니 네 중요해야지.
And then sometimes you are very happy, and then other time you are very unhappy. You are very, strong, healthy, but other time you're very unhealthy and weak and so forth. So that is also the nature, of the world or samsara. And so if we don't want to experience that, then what should we do? Is we should engage in the Dharma practices.
다드네 쇼로가 대지디 다 저랑야 대사겠네. 야무나 소르고 사니 야무나 강바 야무나 소르고 나들이 바네. 아니 야텔라 이때 말이스.
And then then in verse 71 it talks about how the happiness that derives from the place you live is also uncertain.
that's that.
Can you read that verse 71?
Consider that after living for a long time on Mount Meru summer and enjoying the ground softly yielding to your feet, Once again, you will be struck by the unbearable suffering of the fire pit and swamp-filled hells.
Okay, now you can explain this. This is just the word is like very far away. We don't have it, but take this one, then give the example like daily life or this word.
Okay, so on the outer side, right, what this is saying is that, you can go, we talked about high-low, but you can go from very pleasurable, happy mental states to very suffering, bad mental states, right? But it's funny, I can't help but think like we're using these, but everything is still mind, right? That's the key. So it's like on a deeper level, you're looking at this, and well, of course, you have highs and lows. You win, $80,000 at the casino one day, and you lose the next day. Like, but what is more interesting as I'm thinking of this is, but all of this external stuff or subjective stuff, it's all mind. So it can be transcendent, right? Am I making any sense?
You're healthy today, but tomorrow you might get diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, but that's not mind.
Well,
saying
that's why
it's
you're
subjective.
arguing, saying that it's not all.
But like this kind, it's like this kind. It's of course a mind, but also conditions. Right? Not only the mind. If there's nothing going on, only your mind, then visible, but also the conditions around that. You say you're really sick. You say, oh, this is my mind. This is my mind.
That's like
Visible, right? I don't know. This is my mind.
Power
No.
through it.
Yeah, you don't have power. Okay? 답배 차셔는 답배라고 차셔는 전화도 배나 하나도 내가 아메리카 되는 따르기네 대사이면 한국이나 소소 깜발 가래 렘바드 그 대인반나 소소 가래 아니 야 되는 전에 대한 와서 딱 고대 오는 것이나.
So yeah, just to speak easily about it, in an easy way, what we can understand is that, at some point in your life, and you can be very comfortable, with the place where you live, or like the bed where you sleep. You have a very comfortable mattress that you can sleep on, or you can wear very comfortable shoes, right? Your feet will be very comfortable. You will not have to touch the bare ground, and you will not have to experience that thorn and pebbles pricking your feet and so forth, right? That's what it's talking about. So you don't have to experience that kind of suffering.
You guys, when first you grow up like this, when you guys grow up like this kind, we have a situation. You can choose any kind of shoes. We can choose any kind of shoes. We have very soft bed. We can choose to do it like that. It's not like that, right? Yeah, even here, not in other places, not like, of course, not like that. But there is the opposite of that. And it, you might not, and trouble here, but they don't mind you there. Tanda yang also they will have the young to us, yeah, was.
Yeah, so you when you have the wealth, rich, and then you can have those things, right? But then when you become poor, then you might not have those facilities, those comforts, of the soft mattress or comfortable shoes and so forth. But then also, like when before, you didn't have it, and then later you can have it.
Who knows? We have this until we die. We have this. Maybe one day we don't have. Who knows? This happened. What happened? World War III happened. Then who knows how we don't die? How the end of the world? Anybody have question?
Just going back to verse 68, because I was contemplating that one where it, this is supposed to be to get us to be disenchanted with samsara. And I was wondering, well, how do we become disenchanted by knowing that there's not enough soil on the earth to make juniper-sized pellets to count all the mothers in the line? So I was doing some thinking about that, and I found that Lama Tsongkhapa quotes Arya Deva's 400 stanzas on that verse, and he says, "You cannot see the initial cause or even a single effect. Seeing how vast the causes of even one effect are, who would not be frightened?" And so that really affected me, because when you say, yeah, you had a mother and your mother had a mother and your mother had a mother, and it goes back and back, beginningless, so you can never see the first cause of even a single effect. And so how that relates to all of these is pretty amazing, because we don't know, the causes that we created. Yeah.
we believe this is all cause condition, but I mean, how we create the cause, when they create the cause, we cannot find. Now, what we can do is already created, we cannot do it. Now, what we do, don't create new ones.
Yeah, but then like you look at learning theory like anything, right? Like on a regular level, you touch fire, it burns. So when you learn, don't stick your hand in fire.
Exactly.
So when things become that muddled, how do you adapt? How do you learn? You just say, well,
Oh, stop, create a new karma. Also pray and then record for nobody have like this kind of karma. Whatever I'm going, also experience for behalf for all my people. Those gives also a lot of courage of mind. It's a good benefit. Yeah, right? Because we already there. Then I have one story. Never did joy, but it's that was long story. Okay. 다 자동차 뭐지? 가지. 이게 너무 시행이었구나. 소수 그런 게 아무 아무도 다 아마도 따치 뭐 아무도 기십시고 그래. 아무 감에 이거 봐 감밖에 아무 칼 많이 맞는데 미친 말 미치네. 근데 잔소는 또 아니 잔소 저기 치 아니 셔만하라 라들이 좋아해 버려.
So there's this story which I might have told you before. There's this man, who wanted to go to do a business, right, or merchant, buy some stuff and bring, and then his mother didn't want him to go because it's very risky, but he didn't listen, and then he just she lied down on the ground, and to stop him, but then he just stepped over her head and then walk away. So that's like the form of very disrespectful to his mother. And then so anyway, so when he did that, and then he went on, and then he fell in the ocean, and then he was washed to the shore of a land like that, somewhere like that. So that's the result of his walking over his mother's head like that.
아니 드네 그 돈 바치네 사자 강바지나 치죠. 강바지나 다들 롱으로 강바지나 내가 해 버려.
And then he, so when he woke up, and then he found himself there in the island, so he just kept walking. And then he saw a house, and he went inside the house.
대 작은 강바에 대나라 미치기야 고래야. 작은 골로지 고는 도치 코대가 버려. 내가 마 차고 해 버려.
And then this was like an iron house, and inside there was a guy, who had like a wheel, like a prayer wheel, turning on his head, and on his head the prayer wheel turning on his head, so it was pricking into his head, and it was turning, and then as it was turning, and it was like splattering all his brain and blood and so forth from his head.
아니 그 알아 아자는 깨자고 해 버려.
And so this man was screaming with the pain.
아니 저 깨깨잖아. 저한테 가지 말라고 그래. 심바팅.
And then this man asked him, what happened? How did you get this?
아니 걔 엄마 그런 게 아마라 아니 막혀봤지. 아면 원파 감바진 로바이. 다 되긴 되고 많은 거 그러더라고.
And then he said, this is the result of my native karma of not listening to my mother and stepping over her head. And so this is the result of that native karma.
And
then when he heard that, then immediately he remembered, oh, I did that too, like that. And then moment he thought that, then this, the prayer wheel, from the other man's head shifted onto his head. So then he sympathized, all the people who have done this kind of things, and who might go through this kind of similar experience of the suffering. And so he not only saying from saying by word in the words, but really thinking from his heart, and that may nobody has to experience this kind of sufferings. And by my experiencing this, may this be like, may I be able to like experience on behalf of all other beings, so that they will not have to go through this kind of suffering. So he really had this strong thought, altruistic thought about that towards others.
And this same thing, one of the Java take a cool nearby the town, call the Mewachas.
And so the moment he had this very strong altruistic thought, that purified that negative karma, and then the wheel disappeared.
Okay, now that what we play that. And then Nando so leading gang assembly gang Tamando on the Vate. Correct data such a my watch on Nade on the summer on coach of Samana, something. One niggas, some number 10 to 1, not to Yapa Momo Tapo.
So what we learn from this, is that we should also think like that. Whenever we go through the difficulties or experience sufferings, then we should think that, oh, may others not have to go through this kind of, may they no good not experience this kind of sufferings. And by my experiencing this, may they all be free from that, free from their suffering, so that I can and experience it on behalf of them, like that.
Okay. Then what I'm talking about, why I'm talking that. Anyway, tan the look at Kanji, tan Jitin like Itake or Estelina Tata, and then dinner boa, Kanji, Shogun, Dutch life. And that's the one to Chivo, something to all that in Chitan Rota race. And
So
then
there's no certain to the comfort of this world or samsara. Sometimes you can be very happy, very comfortable, but other time you'll be very uncomfortable or suffering. And so there's no certain to that, and that is the nature of samsara. And then in the verse 72 and 73, I think you can read them together. And so this is like, no matter how much pleasure you experience in this life, there's no certainty to that either.
Okay, you read.
After going to play in lovely parks, enjoying and escorting divine women, you will arrive in the forest with leaves of swords, and your legs, arms, nose, and ears will be cut off. After living in the realm called gently flowing stream, where there are goddesses with lovely faces and golden lotuses grow, once again fall into the caustic boiling water of that hell called river without a ford.
What do you think? This is true, or is it just something like story?
I don't know if it's literally true, but it's essentially true.
Yeah.
So like people, who went on a cruise, right? It's supposed to be very pleasurable experience, right? But then they got somebody, came with the COVID, and then all the people, were infected by COVID-19, and they were like, going through so much difficulty. So all those pleasure like turned into a big suffering like that.
아니 미카지 다 직지고 당한다 와. 전문적인 거. 아니 지금 때못 당한다. 아니 때네. 아니 소소가 다. 요런나도 돼. 뭐뭐용도 와. 제가 다 들어가도 다 들어오는데 다 예반 그래.
And so there are some people also, they go, to different places to have fun, right? They go to play games, to enjoy, and they go to the places to tour, to experience, new things, and so to be happy. But then, they, when they go there, sometimes they lose their life, going to these places or playing games and so forth. So this is again how this the things that are supposed to be happy can turn into a suffering. So this is also the nature of samsara.
딱 남자 연반다 제 저도 쟤는 지고 가나가나 땅이다 저도 지고로 땅이다 로 지원이 다다 버지 상무이 다나 어떻게 가는가 지고체 대가 근데 지워 대가 간에 지워요. 나도 저도 좀 너무 생을 내가요.
So you have done so much, fun in your life, right? You have done so much, enjoyable things in your life. It's, oh yeah, I went to this place. Oh, I did that, and it was very, enjoyable or very fun, and so forth, right? So you can think of the things that you did in your life.
오케이. 이나 단도 단도 참아지서 가 단한 거 좋지면 도.
But that feeling, you don't have it anymore now.
제가 톡 타면 예외도 맞다 되네.
And so then, so that's the suffering of change. That's when we talk about suffering of change, that's all the happiness of the samsara is actually suffering of change.
오케이. 다 팀이 다 가지고 고대는 전에 다 신당도 다 배당 그래야 쇼식으로 와서.
So this is how you can easily and you can understand in an easier way, though it talks about all these examples and so forth, from the different realms and so forth, which is a little difficult to believe or understand. But just talking, and to understand it easily is this way.
Any questions?
You see it all the time, even on, you can imagine in 1 minute your family's just having a normal breakfast, and then kid goes off to school, and then dies in a school shooting. You're in a hell realm.
제가 도 가는 지대는 노동들 가려니 반드시 적단데 가는 남도 남주 아니 체인디가 또그 땀섬을 차지 아니 땀 매는 뭐는 되나 때는 차지 제다보다 다때 차나 팽 말레스 때 야는 용대 그래스 다 텔레 야 가지고 아니 개윙 삼바 여러분 삼바 아니 샴니지 샤조점도 검도 와이나 아니 가디나 페이지 나요 그래서 다 되고.
And so yeah, so we can have so much an attachment, to all these things in this life, right? In the world, in this life, so many things that we want, but that doesn't really bring happiness, to us. So what really brings the happiness, is the virtuous action. So if you create a virtuous action, if you generate a positive state of mind like bodhicitta, loving kindness, compassion, so forth, then that will always bring happiness.
Okay. Yes.
And is it true that you can't generate those minds in the lower realms? Like you just don't really have the opportunity to generate?
No, you're Laura, no way.
There's no way you could generate any.
Yeah. There's no way. If we like animals, no way. Human beings the most intelligent and also the most power, and also they can move conditions. Okay? Therefore, don't waste your time. Do more meditation. Do you have any questions?
I guess so on that one. So is there any possible way, say if you're in a lower realm, to get like reborn into the human realm, or is it?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
As we believe that all the animals, we don't say lower realm, the lower realm. But the animals know how always animal. Maybe we all reincarnation, maybe animal. Maybe after we die, maybe we born animal. They're not certain. Therefore, we say everyone has also Buddha seed. Then when Buddha seed, in order to Buddha seed to ripen, then we need to also create the cause. What the cause is merit, or positive action, or virtuous activity. But if you animal is however you animal now, like animals, they of course maybe like 10 years they die. Maybe they are born human being. Maybe they're different animal. Maybe they go different planet. Yes.
All right, so this is I don't know if I'm going to ask it correctly, but so I'm thinking of everything together, what you say like I'm in a realm, right? Hell realm. And I would stay there until my karma is exhausted. Okay, so that's pretty self-evident. But so I'm really thinking about purification, right? So when the Buddha went to the hell realm, right, he thought if he could endure the suffering for somebody else, boom, he was out. So is that the power of pure?
No, that time he's already Buddha Shakyamuni. It's more powerful. Not really like a regular person go to hell. It's already like Buddha Shakyamuni. Buddha's people have also 500 good lives, 500 bad lives. That means, he just go Buddha to pen for others, or he's Buddha, Buddhist Satavahana. Not like that.
But at our level,
Yeah.
purification practices with that intent can burn up some of our negative karma.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
that,
Yeah,
like
of
that
course.
principle thing.
Of course. We also, when we pray, we dedication for that. Any karma to I have to report the, no wrongs, purify that. Dedication that. Purify that. It will go slowly go away. It's not 100%.
Everybody has different problems. Some people it's hatred. Some people very angry by nature.
Yeah.
Some people very attached by nature. So do you purify all of them, or do you try to specifically?
Usually good to specific, you're an angry person, just special. What you angry, destroy thing that. Not just everything, build one thing. Now we have Father Satava, we have 35 Buddhas, all different countries. We can say food, general food is also good for our body, but in all different kind of food, different countries. Like that.
The purification isn't about, purification is to purify specific non-virtuous acts, not like general.
Yeah, not general. Okay, I'm going to
like
clean up all them.
afflictions. I mean, obviously you need to overcome those and
You need to
remove those, but
remember
that's
that.
not purification practice.
You need to record, then action, then put about, and also, how is that? Confessed. Last one.
Resolve not to do it again.
Yeah, not do again. Those things very good, powerful.
Well, yeah, that's for something we do like now, but I'm thinking like, well, for eons we have all this negative karma, which we don't know what it is. How do you purify that? That has to be general, right?
You don't, yeah, exactly. You don't need to remember that exactly one by one. But you remember one negative karma, remember the physical, the purify, or other things also that through that power also go by slowly. Otherwise, we create the billet karma. We don't remember anything.
Right, exactly.
You could use a general.
But
confession.
whatever you have read now, remember that. That can purify all those that kind of karma. Yes.
So what are good purification practices? You mentioned prayer.
It's not usually there's so many different things. Whatever we pray here,
Yeah.
there's also prayers, but more and more kind person, be kindness person. Don't harm others intentionally. Like that. That is profound. That is very good positive actions. When you become positive, more positive, you become a very good person. You don't create negative karma. For a lot we have attachment, angry, jealous. Those bad. Don't follow that. But it's not easy, right? Because very easy to get mad. Okay, I think we stop that. I have today a lunch with some my stomach start to gee.
Mola Chigyosa.
So yeah, who
Ron, you have something?
perhaps?
I'm sorry you're hungry. So if you understand and experience emptiness, then what does that have to do with karma? Does it mean there's no karma left? Like,
So
is emptiness the same as enlightenment?
no. Emptiness. 동반이 setting the 추삼에 내일부터 동반이 남는 것이.
그냥 동반이 공부이나 땅 오나 몰아서 내 동반에 사는 데 가서 되기다 여러 뭐 어디 세로 그러서라.
동반이 공부인 안에
여러 뭐 어디 세로 고알렘바다 동반인데 여러 뭐 어디 세로 그러서다. 여기다디 다 레기라다. 단 여기다 동반이 여기다 세서는데 레 매버쳐 지고 알베스기. 대전에다 동반이 똑똑을 되는 상교도 지고 알베스고.
집어 말이. 동반이 똑바였나 레사바 싹 말이었어.
So yes, if you realize emptiness, then that can purify a lot of negative karma. So if that purifies the negative karma, then you will not experience the result of that negative karma because that's already destroyed or purified, right? And so once you have realized that the emptiness, then you will not, especially like in emptiness directly, then you will not create any more new karma. So because what makes you create a karma is the delusion and ignorance, right? So when you realize emptiness, you don't have the ignorance, so you'll not create any more negative, any more new karmas.
제자는 나도 노트인 거야. 노트 많이 나니. 내가 나하고 나도 노트인 거 말이야. 나도 그마다 하면 원래 노트만 보는 거야.
So we make a mistake because we don't know the correct thing, right? So if you know the correct thing, then you will not make the mistake. So it is like that. When you realize the emptiness, you know the correct thing, then you will not make any mistakes, like that. So once you have realized emptiness, you will not create new negative karma, but it's not same as it's not as same as having become enlightened.
Okay.
So you still have some way to go, to be enlightened after realizing emptiness.
Thank you.
So when you have realized, just by having understanding of emptiness doesn't mean that you will not create karma, but once you have realized the emptiness directly, so that's the difference in realizing and realizing it directly. So when you have realized it directly, then you will not create any more new karmas.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we can stop here.
Short prayers. Okay. 39, Thanksgiving mandala offering. Saji birthday Jujin.
이거 가라 주차해서. 아니 400만 전 내용 거다 담죠. 주제 쭉지네 중이 바로 뭐 제대 가라 그러다.
어디 줄거래?
저거다.
이거는 먼저 수된 거라 말해.
Circle land shores to their.
아 수된 거다. 동거를 뭐 제는 남자시오. 다 대담 맞다.
수된 거라는 게 아버지라 유식 말다.
수대시야 말 자기 말.
수된 거라는 나 최고랜더 디그라다.
줄 남자 남자시오. 줄은 담자다. 나가고. 남자시오.
아니 무조건 인기가 말해.
저 인정 말.
아래.
Through this virtue may act with the
다 줄거나다 최고라는 거 줄었다 됐 냠녀라.
좀
거라는 게 싫어요. 뭐 치디야 뭐 하고 온다. 되는 건 더 봐도 좀 줄주는 거야.
에시 말.
야야.